Hey, I'm Bill Harrelson. I'm a 21-year-old entrepreneur, and I'm the CEO of a company called Elite Picks. Maybe you heard of us, maybe you haven't. If you want to learn more on the brand, go to the rest of my channel. This video is going to be a bit more raw and unfiltered, so no fancy editing on this one. It's just basically going to be a bit more about me, what I've learned in business, and yeah, I just want to start documenting the journey a bit more and growing the personal brand. So I have nothing to sell you. Yeah, let's jump in. About a year and a half ago, I dropped out of college, as some of you may know, and I decided to go all in on my business and really on myself as well. So I ended up spending $52,000 in the past year alone just on myself. And I want to get into how I spent it, why I spent it, and the biggest lessons that I learned along the way. And maybe if you're an entrepreneur watching this, or maybe you're just one of my friends, maybe you'll learn something from it. So first thing was I spent the majority of the money on mentorship and masterminds. Specifically, I paid a coach who built a $100 million company, software company, and had him basically take me under his wing, show me everything he's learned in business so far, how it's been able to help him get to where he is, and what I should be doing in my life to have more success, not only now, but in the future. And to be honest, I view this as my college almost, where instead of going to a standard university, I paid a lot of money to work with someone who has a ton of success building huge businesses, and basically to teach me. And I think in the long run, it's going to pay off a lot more. And in this coaching group, I've actually been able to meet some of my now best friends, which has been pretty cool. So that's the first thing, and I'll get into some takeaways later. But the second thing is I spent my money on networking groups. So about a year ago, I knew nobody online. I was just kind of chasing this vision that I'd be a lone wolf. I'd grind my way to being a multimillionaire, and no one would ever know me. I wouldn't have any business friends. I'd just be like this rich, calm guy that no one knew was rich. And I realized maybe that's not the best path, and I'll get there quicker and I'll have a lot more fun doing it if I actually meet some people who are like me. And I joined a networking group called GCC. For those of you that might know, Gents Croquet Club, it's Iman Gaji's high ticket networking group pretty much. And it's actually kind of funny. I have it in my Instagram bio, just says GCC. And I've had a few people ask me like what community college it is, because they thought GCC stood for community college, or just what it is in general. And it's basically just an online networking group for online entrepreneurs. So yeah, joining there has been pretty cool, and I'll get into some takeaways from that as well in a minute. But overall, I have three main things I want to jump into. And the first takeaway is from the coaching. And I could have picked a lot of different things, but I wanted to pick the three things that have had the most impact on me. And the first takeaway was business is basically just a reflection of your personal life and mental state in many ways. So for the large majority of people, and especially even me, business it goes how your mind goes almost. So if you're struggling mentally, or if you have addictions to drugs, alcohol, or anything else you want to imagine, you need to address those first and come over those in order to get the focus you need to get where you want to go. So that's probably the first thing that he taught me that has had a big impact on me. And by no means am I perfect. Like, I still go out and have a good time. Overall, just mastering almost my mind, if you want to say, or locking in on my personal life and being very intentional about how I do things. That would be the first thing. The second thing is speed and execution. And then I want to almost add a third thing, which is promises. So speed and execution are everything. Like, when you say you're going to do something, do it, and do it fast and to your best ability. So don't say you're going to do something next week if you have the time to do it now. And promises basically just means keep promises to yourself. And this is probably the hardest one, and a lot of people watching this, and I even do this sometimes, but I've noticed I made the most progress in my life when I made a promise to myself and I kept it and I consistently did that. So for example, I'm going to wake up at 8 a.m. tomorrow and I'm going to go to the gym 3 times this week or 4 times this week. I'm going to start doing this new lead generation tactic tomorrow. Stuff like that. And you actually keep your promises and you're on top of it. And when you pair that with speed and execution, meaning your ability to actually do shit and do it fast to your best ability, obviously, that's when you make the most progress. Otherwise, you'll probably just sit around feeling anxious about the work that you should have been doing and you know what you need to do, but you have struggles still doing it. The last thing is actually something I learned from GCC, and it's just that networking is so much more powerful than you might think. Even if you're not in business, it can completely change your life. And for example, like I joined GCC last December, so a year ago from now, from when I'm posting this, and I didn't know anyone. I actually sat in there for like a week, almost like scared to message anyone because I thought everyone was so far ahead of me in life, and a lot of people were and still are. But I sent one text to one guy and he became one of my best friends now. And me sending that one text, and I almost didn't hit send, was just basically, hey, let's jump on a call. I want to learn about your business. That turned into me meeting so many people. Like he introduced me to my coach, and then my coach introduced me to people that were my age or similar that all run these huge companies in different industries. So for example, then my coach introduced me to this guy who's an absolute killer at email marketing, and he's so good at what he does, and he's become one of my best friends as well. And I literally was just texting him yesterday about a small issue I had, and me being able to just text him about small things and just ask him questions about what he thinks on things, and not having to pay tens of thousands of dollars for stuff like that in the long run is going to save me a lot of money, and it's awesome. And then vice versa, he can always come to me when he needs questions or he needs help with something that I'm really good at, like Instagram marketing or things along those lines. So it's a two-way street, but when you have good connections, it saves you so much money and so much time. One more thing I wanted to touch on is basically to get out of your comfort zone a bit more. And who you surround yourself with has such a big impact on you. You don't even realize. And for example, I knew that my hometown friends are there for a great time because every time I hang out with them, they're amazing and I love them and I have an awesome time. But the issue was I never felt that I didn't have any hometown friends that were really pushing me in terms of business success, and that really could. So when I hung out with them, maybe I felt like I was only there for a good time and I didn't have anyone I could go to that would actually be like, you need to do this, you need to keep pushing with this. It was more just like, let's have a good time, which I do still with them. And then I found some business friends online, and they've been able to help push me in the direction I needed to go, or I wanted to go, a lot better. Because when you are hanging out with people who are on the same level in terms of business as you, or are ahead of you in business, they're going to push you or pull you, and they're more like-minded, and it leaves such a positive impact on you. And I think there's something to be said about finding a healthy balance between the two, because I still absolutely love hanging out with my hometown friends and having a good time with them. But I also know that I need to hang out with my business friends a lot as well, because those are also going to be some of the people that push me far ahead in life, at least in terms of where my goals are and where I want to go, and they're very aligned with me. So yeah, I'd say all in all, those are basics, the keys to what I've learned and over the past year and what has helped me the most in business. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope maybe you learned something. And if you have any questions, just drop me a DM on my personal Instagram. I don't bite, so ask me anything you need, and hope you have a good day. Thanks.